Christina Alba. I'm from San Jose, California, and my practice is called RIVULET Chiropractic here in Lafayette, California. My background is in marketing. I've always been interested in entrepreneurism and starting strong, having some type of vision and plan. What I opted to do was an internship, and in that 3 weeks I learned so much more than I probably would have in a 6-month internship or 1-year associateship. And I purposely chose to be at a practice that was thriving and had its business and systems down, as opposed to one that was technique driven. Because you'll always learn technique. You can always go to a seminar, you can shadow other doctors. I knew I wanted to be in Lafayette. And to backtrack, I knew after clinic, before boards, that I wanted to be in this part of the town. So I started to actively connect with people in the Lafayette community. The Chamber of Commerce is always great in any city. Join a local gym, volunteer somewhere, shop, dine, eat, really, if you have the opportunity locally, because you're gonna be using those cultural and community ties. Those are gonna be your future patients. The things that you should think about so that you prepare yourself for success after you graduate is really get clear about who you are, and clear up your psychology, clear up your finances, clear up your relationships with yourself and others, because it's not about you anymore. You are going to be a provider, a caregiver. So if you're not clear in your entity or doing things to clear yourself physically, mentally, socially, chemically, then that's not gonna work for you or the people that you're trying to help. Also, get clear on your type of communication of chiropractic. Like, how would you explain a subluxation? How would you explain pain? How would you explain something to a patient on the first visit versus the 5th visit versus the 10th visit? And prepare yourself for objections. Like, what if they don't want to come in anymore? What would you say? Third, make sure that you do Toastmasters, do something where you're practicing the actual communication to lay people or a non-chiropractic population. So a good indication how you may fare in practice is how you put yourself to work in the clinical experience, which happens halfway through the LifeWest Chiropractic College program. Because it's those that assume I'm just in school and then when I graduate it's gonna be picture perfect. No, those hard skills, all those hard lessons, all those mistakes and failures, make them in school. You'll still make some mistakes when you transition, but at least you'll be better prepared. You'll be more resilient. So at 5 months, I just 2 days ago hired my first chiropractic assistant, who's key and essential because you can't be doing it all on your own. And I've also made 1 payment on a student loan. I'll be making a 2nd payment on a student loan, which is a huge reality check. And then also being able to cover your overhead and have enough for marketing. And most importantly, you gotta pay yourself. Oh, and I got a raise this past month. There's a real beauty and joy coming from working with patients in the sense that you never know what they're gonna bring to the table, in that I was working again with someone who had been to multiple chiropractors. She's a physical therapist, and I felt challenged in the sense like, wow, she knows the language, but I also felt comfortable in the fact that I don't do physical therapy. I don't do other modalities. And so she came in and she saw her x-rays, and in explaining her care to her, I didn't know what to expect from that. And at one point I detached and I said, if she signs up, great. If not, then let's move on. And she called the next day and said, okay, let's get adjusted. And I said, fantastic. And she's been one of my best patients. And again, she was part of the chamber. And she brought me a jar of homemade raspberry jam for Christmas. And that to me meant so much. It's not just another jam because of the meaning attributed to it. So those are like the nice surprises that you get. Just the rapport, the community building. When you group patients together, it's really fun. And then you're adjusting and there's that healing that takes place in numbers.